call this meeting to order. Roll call.
Mr. Mishler?
Here.
Ms. Mears?
Here.
Ms. Padilla?
Here.
Ms. Benedict?
Here.
Roll has been called.
Well,
What about me?
Just left Jim.
Mr. Clark?
Yes.
get us off to a good start. Okay, please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Before we go any farther, in order for the microphones to work, for some of you who are new, you need to put it close to you when you go to speak, because it doesn't necessarily, if you back up, it doesn't necessarily pick you up, so, unless you speak loud. Okay, the approval of the agenda. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Clark, seconded by Padilla.
Padilla.
Okay, I'll get them eventually. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Okay, the approval of the June meeting minutes. I assume you've all got copies of that. Is there a motion to approve these minutes?
Motion to approve the June meeting minutes as presented.
Second.
Okay. Any discussion? Anybody got anything? Okay. Motion by Dia and seconded by Clark. All those in favor, do we have to do roll call?
President's discretion.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Public comments on agenda and non-agenda items. Public comments are limited to 4 minutes. Persons addressing the board should state their name and address and direct their comments to the president. Is there anybody wishing to speak? Okay, go ahead. Come on up and stand at the podium.
Me?
You, yeah.
Me?
Should we go
I know,
ahead and
sorry,
switch
behind me.
microphones so that she can be heard?
Can we get a microphone over there?
No, I love a microphone. Testing, testing. Okay. Kristen Watt, 102 South First Street, number 3. I am here just for a moment to give a public comment on a couple of things. For anyone who is not, that I don't know in the room, I had the privilege of serving on the board for 4 years on the last term. And I just wanted to give some feedback. I purposefully have not really come to the first 6 months of meetings because I do feel, as most of you know, as I'm super chatty, and I think it's important to let, I knocked a lot of doors for these young women that are sitting here right now, Miss Padilla and Miss Benedict, and I think it's important to let people walk in and feel a sense of ownership in a role without having pressure from other people sitting in the back. So I waited a little bit. However, I just wanted to share a quick story because I know y'all are electing officers tonight and considering appointments. When I served on this board, I think we made it a whole 2 or 3, maybe 4 months, Greg, before we had our first person moved out of state, and or somebody resigned because of a personal conflict with their schedule, etc. So we had to deal with that pretty early in our board, and we were also all, while Mr. Mishler actually had been on many boards, not this one, none of us had been on a board before, on the library board. And loving the library is wonderful. Serving on its board is a different experience. the legalities of being on this board is different than other municipal laws. And more importantly, I'm experiencing this as a citizen, a free citizen for the first time in 6 years. Growth and things like that, they come from being put in uncomfortable spaces. They force you to learn, they force you to grow, and I feel like it's kind of like being in the trenches, those of us that served on that board together. We had to learn everything from scratch, and while this library was well kept for decades, financially and so forth, I'm very proud of the work we did collectively to bring it in many ways into the 21st century and modernize it and get the strategic plan going and so forth. And what I also noticed, poor Joe was like the lone male ranger in a sea of women, and he survived it all. He's survived Vietnam and he survived all of us for 4 years. But even when we disagreed and we agreed, we worked together, and I'm really excited to see some of the people who are currently on the board that are being considered for the board. I do want to just say this, any one of you, I know love this library for many reasons. It's deeply personal to you, and I know most of you, and I would be proud to see any of you serve leading it. What I do think, though, during this transition right now in Holly, I did speak with Miss Benedict about a month ago. I happened to run into her at the coffee shop, and I was so impressed with her on our previous board as volunteer for Friends of the Library, coming to the meetings, taking action, running a campaign, really trying to run because she loves this library, wants to serve. She works for the schools, and while I have no doubt any of you could lead, Joe, if you get termed president again, I'll support you in this library. I think she may have some interest in potentially leading, and I know that is sometimes an awkward place to be when you want to, step up and suggest that maybe you could do that. And I know that I watched April do it from scratch. I know I've seen Joe lead boards from scratch. I've seen Chrisandra do things at schools from scratch. I've seen it. Everyone in here has the capability to do that. But I do think that what I would love to see as a citizen now and someone who used to serve here is, what is the future going to look like? I don't mean that in a negative way about the past, but I believe that we might see someone like Amber or you serve 8, 10, 12 years in this position. And I would support her as president. If y'all choose to pick Joe as president, I would support Joe as well. And I'd also like to say that I am so excited. I didn't know till tonight that Christine O'Connell was one of the considerations for this board. And I watched her do amazing work in the community and love this library. So I'm just here to show moral support. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anybody else? Go ahead, come on up here.
This is the same where I read my address and everything. Christopher Summers, 826 Richard, Holly, Michigan. And I'm owner of a company, Summers Invasive Species Control. I started it in 2022. The reason I'm here today is I wanted to mention about the bittersweet that's on your property and on the various properties that are around here. I first noticed this before I started my company. I don't know if Greg was here in 2021, but I think I contacted the neighbor properties. I can't remember his name, Van Keatum or something. He's a tax man, I know that. He lives in somewhere like in Bloomfield. But anyways, I contacted him because the majority of the infestation was on his property. But before I get ahead of myself, I did make some pictures. Bittersweet, here you go. It'll kill trees, and you got some nice plants around here. And I know that one of the library employees is also concerned. And then I did have mentioned this to Greg, and he suggested that I come here. That's why I'm here today. But basically, it's a really bad plant. It can devastate a forest system. If you ever go to Highland Rec, the bike trails back there, that's where these pictures are from. In fact, I've been involved in invasive species management and started as a volunteer probably 20 years ago for Michigan Nature Association, and then for the DNR. And in 2021, when I was here, I I don't know if I was even thinking of starting a company then, it just kinda came to me, I should just do this as a business. But anyways, the Highland Rec, it was a horror watching, just, basically what it'll do is the vine will grow and it'll start wrapping around a tree. Doesn't care how big or how old that tree is, eventually it'll strangle it. And what's happening on these trees here that I'm showing you, it's snapping them half and then kinda leaving the top half hanging on the vine and the dead bottom half. And, anyway, and other than, strangling trees, it can just form these huge mats in open areas, and that's kinda, you kinda got both going on your property. And as I said, in 2021, it was hardly in your property, it was mainly on some of the adjacent properties. Ideally, if you decide to do something about it, you'd get multiple property owners involved. Invasive plants don't know politics, they don't care who owns the property, they go where they go. And that's the situation 90% of the time, when I'm writing proposals for clients. You know, they go, but it's and it's just, it gets complicated because you have multiple ownerships, but, any questions, I guess, you're probably not allowed to ask questions, right? I don't know how your protocols are. So, but, you know, I'm gladly answer questions, you know, that's basically, if you don't use my company, there's other companies that do this, there's Stantec, PlantWise, people that have been around for years. I started, as I said, in 2022. So, and I have quite a passion for it, and I'm getting a pretty decent client list right now, so.
Go ahead.
Chris, can you give me another bid or
Yeah.
another quote?
Yeah, I can do that, yeah.
And when is the best time of the year to do something?
Well, you can spray now, the best time to, that would involve multiple, like, foliar spray, and then something you do that's called cut stump, where you cut the, bigger ones, the ones that are going up the tree, you cut them and use concentrated herbicide on the, stump that you cut. But you'd also need foliar treatment, which could be done now, but you have up until, probably the first killing frost, let's just say October 1st, who knows? And then the cut stump can be done any time of year. And there's other options that basal bark treatment can be done at any time of year, pretty much. So, yeah,
Thank you,
you're welcome.
For sharing that.
appreciate it.
You guys can keep those.
Okay, thank you.
Those just came off my cell phone, so.
Is there anyone else that would like to speak? Anybody? Okay, we will move on then to, bills for payment.
Before we move on, can I ask, does anyone at the table have a working pen? I don't wanna take your own.
Oh, I got one.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Came prepared. Thank you.
Okay, bills to pay. And also, the checking account register. You have all of that information, in here. If there's a motion, we will go from that. Anybody have any questions about the bills to pay or the checking account register? Is there a motion?
I motion to approve the bills to pay.
Okay, is there a
Support.
second?
I second.
Is there any discussion? Okay, it was a motion by Benedict, and I believe Clark was second. made the second, so any discussion on that? Anyone? Any discussion on the budget? Okay, we'll do a roll call vote.
Mr. Mishler,
Yes?
Ms. Beers,
Yes.
Ms. Padilla,
Yes.
Ms. Benedict,
Yes.
Mr. Clark.
Yes.
Okay, motion carried. We'll now move on to, the director and president's report. Mr. Director.
Thank you, Mr. President, Mr. President. I'll just summarize what's in the notes here. I said that carpeting had been picked, but it actually, we're still in the last stages of, I never realized design by committee was so long. I'm looking at Jessica
Yeah,
Rizzo.
I'll take blame for that, sorry guys.
Microphone,
Oh.
thank you.
So the carpet will be picked in the next 2 days. Next step is choosing finishes for the furniture tables and an interior paint color. We're still projecting late October to early November and probably a 3-week closure. Still soliciting bids on moving the flagpole. MMLC, which is our cooperative, their next board meeting will be September 11th, and at that meeting, they will accept our resignation and issue refund checks for our funds deposited. Their administrative assistant said we have about $71,000 coming back. TLN, our new cooperative, at the budget hearing, we already approved joining and spending up to a certain amount, and the quotes are in here for your, under old business, for your look. Summer reading, is winding down. This Thursday is the outdoor foam party, which I have no idea what that is. Ice Cream Social is August 9th, and the Junk in the Trunk sale is August 1st. Lastly, today I received.
August 2nd.
Oh, sorry. August 2nd. Lastly, today I received our penal fine check. The library gets a share of all the fines assessed against criminals and people like that in our districts with Groveland, Rose, and Holly. And the check was for $35,000. So thank you, bad people. And that, sir, is my report.
Okay. Anybody have any questions, Director? All right, since and none, the president's report, I have a couple things. First off, I was asked to sign a letter to join the TLN, and I did that earlier this month. And Greg has kept me posted on the MMLC and several other things. The other thing that we did was the flagpole, which is going to come up here shortly. Greg, we need to move the flagpole from where it is now to some other place on the property so it doesn't get tangled up and destroyed by the trees, which seems to be happening. So that's pretty much it. And I've noticed that the library's been pretty busy. And that's all I have. Okay, and now we will do the election of board candidates. And, can I ask, I'm gonna ask you a question. Did you get sworn in, Abby?
Yeah,
Okay.
what is the office?
Okay, okay. All right, so we have one, and that is Christine M. Connell. Christine, if you'd like to come up to the podium to say a few words for us, that'd be great. Want to hand her the microphone?
I have a very loud voice, I don't think I'll need a,
Well, we recorded.
oh, gotcha, okay.
so I'm supposed to talk about me?
Why do you want to be on the board?
Because I love libraries. I believe that reading is everything. Getting children involved in the library and helping them learn to read and giving them a love of the library. I grew up in a library much like this one, a tiny little library where everybody cared, everybody was involved. There were so many activities and things to do that it gave me a lifelong love of learning and reading, and I want to share that with other children. Being a preschool teacher, I know how important it is for them to learn and be involved in the library, have a community that supports them. I've lived in Holly for almost 30 years, that's hard to believe, but I love this community and want to be a part of it and help it grow and thrive.
Does anything else? Does anyone have any questions of Ms. Powell?
Chris, I have a question for you. Can you tell me about an experience that has given you the most satisfaction in your volunteer or professional career?
This is kind of a very personal thing, but my son lost his life a few years ago, and I have been highly involved in Out of Darkness walks, watching parents who have suffered a loss of a child thrive and be supportive and help them understand that it's okay to grieve, it's okay to be sad, but you also have to move on, and being there to support them has changed my life and changed my family's lives.
Thank you for sharing that.
Is there anyone else that has any questions or comments? Okay, thank you. Yeah, I got it. All right, we have a second one, yeah. I only got three sets of agendas up here, so. Tara Fanson,
Hello, everyone. I am going to be a new resident to Holly as soon as my home closes. So currently, I think I'm here more so observing, and maybe for the future, if any openings happen to come. I do have purchase agreements with my home. If that is in any way a way to contribute to this. However, I'm just really excited to get involved in my community. I come from Washington State, where I worked as a fiscal compliance director at a recovery center, and really working with the community is just something that I have a heart and passion for, from every walk of life, from drug addiction, individuals being unhoused, children who have learning disabilities, and where I come from with wanting to work with the library is I did not have a library as a resource as a young child or in my youth. I didn't even know what the library could offer me until I was much older and working in nonprofit. And to me, I think that's just a huge disservice to our community. And I don't know what your guys' outreach looks like here, but I would love to be a positive influence in what that looks like for the community, and bring in, youth as well as adults, because that's how we keep our library systems going as well. So really, I just want to be able to utilize my skills in communication and accounting and operations to be able to help serve. Thank you.
thank you. Anybody have any questions or?
So you're not currently a resident of Holly?
No, I have a purchase agreement. I'm gonna be staying about a mile away from here. I think it's called Greenville. I'm sure you might know the name of it. But it's the new MI homes that are coming in off of this road down here. And so our home has a roof on it. But we probably won't close until September, like early. They're gauging maybe September 14th. So, but otherwise we're staying in Milford currently until the home is complete.
You
Okay, is there anyone else that has a question, comment, or? Anyone?
I'll ask the same question, Kara. Can you tell me about an experience in your volunteer or professional career that has given you the most satisfaction?
Yeah, so in my most previous role, I was able to take on grant writing. And so one of the largest grants that I was able to help us achieve and get awarded was for youth from 8 to 18. And that was a deferment program where if they get in trouble with law enforcement, oftentimes parents call 911 in a panic when they can't manage behaviors at home. And what that typically would do in Washington State is automatically give a child the potential to have like a criminal charge. And this deferment program would give them a peer to work with who would help them go and have anger management classes or other therapeutic opportunities so that they don't have a criminal charge and instead they get the tools that they desperately need to be able to control some of those behaviors, as well as wraparound services for the family, because we also know that sometimes, or most of the times, those behaviors are caused by an unhealthy home. So that was one of the grants that I was really proud of receiving, and the money was, the award amount was $200,000 for year 1, and then a review for year 2 up to, I don't recall entirely, but it was almost double that amount. And so it allowed us for multiple peers.
Thank you so much for sharing about that.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, thank you.
Thank
And
you.
welcome to Holly.
Thank you so much.
Very soon.
Now we vote. Okay, so now we are going to vote to put that person on the board. The only candidate we have that's qualified is Christina Connell. So that would require a motion and a second.
I move to nominate Christine Connell for a board position. I second that.
Okay, it's moved by Della, seconded by Abby. Discussion.
Well, I think she's a good choice because of her previous background in the library and being a preschool teacher and being associated with assisting her community in that sense of improving the lives of children who are our most of our attendees, like our, mothers and children, things like that. And I feel like that's gonna help the future of the library to try and evolve. There's a lot of programs that we already have for the children, and maybe just improve those as well. I think she's a good candidate because of those reasons.
Thank you. Anyone else? I also know that Christina has been very involved in the community in a number of different ways. I know some of the plays that were done by Laura Legan, and also the Dickens Festival and other things, so she has some knowledge of the community, which is something we need. Anyone else? This will be a roll call vote. Yeah.
Mr. Clark?
Yes.
Ms. Benedict?
Yes.
Ms. Padilla?
Yes.
Ms. Beers?
Yes.
Mr. Bishop?
Yes. All right, motion carried. Congratulations.
You know you have to be sworn in by the township.
No.
You beat me to it.
Okay.
All right, now we are at the election of board officers. We will be electing a president, a vice president, treasurer, and a secretary.
Okay. I have a question. Is this normally done like in January, or are we just doing this for 5 months or what have you?
Yeah, on the, I think I said it, I'm sorry, on the packet. Yeah, give me
Page
page.
19.
Page, I'm sorry.
Page 19.
19, thank you. It will be electing until January due to the resignation of so many officers. We have to elect a new board. And per the bylaws, our next election will be January, our first January meeting.
So we're sure to start at the bottom, start at the top. Start at the top of the bottom. President or secretary? Okay, we are going to do president. Are there nominations?
I'd like to make a motion to nominate Amber Benedict for the position of president. I feel like she would be a valuable asset in continuing forward motion in the library and could serve in that role for many years. She also brings a lot of strengths and talents that could help propel the library forward as well.
Is there a second?
I second that.
Are there any other nominations? Okay, we'll do a roll call vote.
Mr. Clark,
Yes.
Ms. Benedict,
Yes.
Ms. Padilla,
Yes.
Ms. Beers,
Yes.
and Mr. Michelin.
Yes.
All right.
Okay, motion's been carried. Congratulations. Do I still do this or does she take over?
She's not.
Next meeting.
Next meeting, yeah.
Oh, okay. So, Vice President, are there any nominations?
I'd like to nominate Cassandra Padilla for vice president. I think her experience in this community is been through and through with the many events and activities that she's involved in. She has a lot of, I think, positive connections to this community and has made many positive contributions to this community. And for that, I'd like to nominate her as vice president.
Is there a secretary? Is there a second to the motion?
I'll second that.
Okay, so moved and seconded. Any comments or anything?
I have a comment. While I appreciate your nomination, Amber, I would like to move for Joe to serve as the vice chair. I think that his experience on this board is valuable and that he can really help to maintain the progress of where we are with the library board. Carrying us through until January while new positions are being learned would be very valuable.
Is there a second? There's no second? Okay. Did we already vote on this one?
Vice President, no, sir.
All right. So it's been moved and seconded for the vice president. We'll do a roll call vote.
Mr. Clark,
Yes.
Ms. Benedict,
Sorry, just to clarify, we are,
we are voting for, yes, Ms. Padilla for Vice President.
yes.
Ms. Padilla,
No.
okay. Ms. Beers,
Yes.
Mr. Michelin.
Yes?
She doesn't have to accept the nomination, sorry to interrupt. She doesn't have to accept the nomination, sorry to interrupt.
She what? I'm sorry.
She's saying that I don't have to accept the nomination, and sorry to interrupt.
I apologize.
So where are we here?
She would accept the nomination.
I would prefer to serve in the role of secretary, if the board sees that as being an appropriate, space. I feel like that's where my skills would be best utilized. I'm a very type A and organized person, and, I think that managing in that role would be a great fit for me. And I feel very confident that I'd be successful in that position where there's, a bit of responsibility that's required. Back to you.
Okay, I think we're gonna have to go back through the nomination process since she has said no. So is there a nomination for anybody else for vice president?
I'll nominate Joe Mishler.
Is there a second?
I second.
Okay, Jennifer, you do second?
Yes.
All right. For the position of vice president, would you accept the position if elected?
Sure.
Mr. Clark?
Are we having any discussion at all?
Oh, sorry, I didn't.
Go ahead.
I have no problem with Joe, we're about the same age. We are really good at, the historical perspective on things. But overall, I really like the idea of younger people being in command of this board.
I didn't have a chance to speak on the president thing, but I'm gonna speak right now. We faced some challenges, some serious challenges. And we're gonna need all the community support we can get, because there are challenges for both probably the township and the village. And we know that's coming down the pike. And we have to be ready for it to preserve our library. And I'm all about that, and I don't care about age. Age is irrelevant to me. I know people my age who are just as active as people the age of the others setting out here. So age is not a relevant thing, but I'm just saying, I wanna see this library preserved. It's a wonderful institution, and I don't wanna see it damaged by other institutions in their efforts to do whatever it is they're gonna do. And I think that if you're sitting here and you know the community, you know what what the village is looking at, and you know what the township is looking at. And that might not be in our best benefit. Thank you. Anybody else? Let's do a roll call.
Mr. Clark?
Yes.
Ms. Benedict?
Yes.
Ms. Padilla?
Yes.
Ms. Pierce?
Yeah.
Mr. Mishra?
Yes. Okay, for secretary, are there any nominations? The motion is carried. Any nominations?
I'd like to nominate Cassandra Padilla for secretary.
Okay, is there
I second.
okay. It's been moved by Ms. Benedict and seconded by Ms. Beer that Cassandra be nominated for secretary. Are there any other nominations for secretary? Okay, would you like to say a few words?
I appreciate your nomination, and I accept that position. Like I said, I am a very organized person, and I think that I'll be very successful in that spot.
Thank you. All right, roll call.
Mr. Clark?
Yes.
Ms. Benedict?
Yes.
Okay, are there any the motion has been carried. Is there any nominations for treasurer?
I'd like to nominate Jim Clark for the position of treasurer. I believe your experience in leadership will be very helpful in this position. I think that your perspective as a person with experience will be helpful as well in ensuring that the person who maybe were to take that position, I know you've expressed that you have no intention of continuing after the next round, after our terms have been served, but ensuring that the continued success of the library, it maintains the forefront of our work. I think that the next person would be set up for success in that way.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved by Dia and seconded by Benedict to have Jim as the treasurer. Are there any other nominations? Hey, Jim, would you like to comment?
I would
Would you accept?
being treasurer.
Okay. Any other comment? Okay, roll call.
Mr. Clark,
Yes.
Ms. Benedict,
Yes.
Ms. Padilla,
Yes.
Ms. Beers,
Yes.
and Mr. Mishler.
Yes. Okay, congratulations to everybody. We have old business. The TNL membership costs, I believe, are under old business.
I included in the packet, even though at the budget meeting, we approved joining TLN for a cost of about $40,000. I've included the bids, or I'm sorry, the quotes from TLN. It's my anticipation that we would be joining TLN mid-September and providing ample notice for our patrons before then, because it will be a change. Their fees seem pretty reasonable for the services that they offer. And I would be happy to bring the director of TLN to the next board meeting if the board would like that too.
I think that would be a great idea. It would help us to familiarize ourselves with the services that they offer.
Yes, ma'am. This is just a discussion item and not an action item.
Does anybody have any questions about that or comments or anything, anybody?
Can I ask, Greg, do we have a plan in mind already for the refund amount from MMLC? Will that be rolled into the budget to continue our cooperative agreement with TLN?
It will be rolled into the budget minus, yeah, a little bit. I may have said it in the item. They cost probably about twice as much as MMLC, but we are zeroing out some previously budgeted items. So our actual in cost, I think I told Mr. Mitchell, is about $15,000 this year.
Okay, thank you.
And you are correct, the extra money from MMLC will go towards that.
Thank you.
Anybody else, comments or questions about this? Okay, that's the only old business, new business. We talked about forming a couple different committees. Greg, do you want to address that?
Yes, Mr. Mitchell and I talked, we were talking about forming a committee to study becoming a district library. As Mr. Mishler alluded to earlier in his comments, we are in a tricky situation right now. The village people that are in attendance tonight. The village may be going for cityhood, and that presents a bit of a problem for us as we are a township library. If the village became a city without prior agreement with us, all village residents would lose library privileges. Additionally, all village board members would be ineligible.
Yay.
So, and the township, I'm not really ever sure what's going on with the township, I don't mean to say it like that. One of the options available to us is looking at forming a district library. And you need two other entities to form a district library. And immediately coming to mind are Rhodes and Groveland Township. There are advantages to becoming a district library, and major disadvantage is convincing the other entities to join our district and securing funding from those entities. Currently, as you may or may not know, we receive a fee every year from Rhodes and Groveland Township.
A small fee.
A small fee. In the past, they have expressed reluctance to do a millage, but it could be a very small millage depending on what we get from the village and the township. So this committee would be to start the discussions among ourselves and then about what we really want to do as far as district versus non-district, and start to figure out how we're going to accomplish that. We did in the past, and it can happen again for a small cost, have our library attorney give a presentation on becoming a district library. And she did that by Zoom, and that's available to us if we want to.
I've always favored district library. There are some hurdles to get over, obviously, with Groveland and Rose. I also happen to have been intimately involved in the last cityhood effort in the village 20 years ago. It was voted down by the people. And I see that as a very unlikely possibility. It's a very cumbersome process. Although I'd like to see it happen, I'd like to see the academy property incorporated in the village, since they get our services. But I'm not gonna hold my breath on that one.
I think as a village resident and board member, I would have a lot to lose by not having access to the library, especially since I live about 200 feet that way. It would be a great loss for myself and my family. So I'd really like to get more information, and I would support the committee to pursue a district library if that were to become, an issue that we would have to hurdle.
I have looked at the district library myself. Matter of fact, I brought the law with me here tonight. I have the district library law. It is complicated. It takes a lot of work. I'm also familiar with Clare, Michigan, who went to a district library. They had a city and 5 townships. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of hard work, but they preserved their library. And I know that other communities have done this. And I say we have to do whatever we can to preserve this library and to preserve what we do for the community. I'm in here almost every other day, and I see all the little kids coming in here for stories. I see the teenagers coming in here. We've never had teenagers come in here like that before. We have to do what's necessary as a board to protect ourselves. And I said that before, and I say it again. I don't have anything against the village going for a city, except what would happen to the library. And I don't have anything against the township, whatever they plan, as long as they leave us alone. The only way to do that is through a district library. And if you've not read the law, You can get it on the internet, it's not hard, although you'll read through it and you'll go, what? What do they mean? If you contract with other townships, they get a member on your board or two member, I forget what it is, one or two members on your board. And the board expands to 7. So that's one of the, there would be, like, if the current board, probably 1 or 2 people could stay on, maybe 2 or 3, but we would have to bring in other people from these other entities. That's one of the requirements. And outreach is critical. We've been doing a lot of great outreach in the last year or 2. I don't know if some of you are aware of that. That outreach has really done well. The outreach to the schools has been phenomenal on Jessica's part. We need more of that. We need, not only the schools, but we need to reach out to a lot of other different groups. I know we are, and I really like that because that's what we're gonna need. We have a great service. Most people really love the place. But we have an obligation to protect ourselves, to protect the library. So, anybody else has a comment?
I think I would be interested to see in the history of Brighton. I think Brighton is a district library, are they not?
I believe you're right.
So I wonder what their process was. I don't know off the top of my head, but I'd be interested, Joe, like you were mentioning, just looking at how the other district formed and all of the hoops and obstacles that they went to, just to sort of maybe prepare us.
Well, we need to form a committee.
Sure.
I don't know who's willing to serve on the committee, but we're just gonna throw it out and get it started tonight.
I'd be willing to serve on that committee. I think it's important to have stakeholder involvement as well. So reaching out to our community members, our local leadership, schools, parents. It would be important to hear from those who would be most impacted by any changes to the library.
I'm interested. Wait, there's a hand way back there.
I see
Jessica.
Is the committee open just to board or to staff as well? Or to staff and
Well,
anyone?
let's get the board committee set and then we'll bring on other people.
Okay.
Okay? I was just thinking that myself. Is there other people who would like to serve?
Can I sense, or do I have to be sworn in first?
I believe you'd have to be sworn in
Yeah, you're
first.
sworn
Okay.
in. We could just put 2 people on tonight or however you wanna do it, and then we go from there. Okay, and then at the next meeting, we can straighten that out. So you're interested, I'm interested, anybody else?
I'm interested.
So that's 3. Okay, is there a motion to establish this committee and the 3 members who were picked, who volunteered?
I make that motion.
I'll
Moved by Jim,
second.
Seconded by Cassandra. All right, to have a committee to look at the district library. And you are, by virtue of the fact you're president, you're an ex officio member of all committees. I don't know if you knew that, but you are. Okay. Let's do a roll call.
Mr. Meckler,
Yes.
Ms. Beers,
Yes.
Ms. Padilla,
Yes.
Ms. Benedict,
Yes.
Mr. Clark.
Yes.
Okay. We had committees. What was the S for? I didn't know we had a second committee.
It was a hypergraphical
Okay.
library.
Okay. You can be forgiven. All right, there's no other new business. We will now go on to, board comment and public comment, but we will go with public comment first. Is there anybody who would like to speak? on up here, April.
Hello, April Brandon, 414 Oakland Street. If I can help this library move forward with becoming a district library in any way, whether it's as a subcommittee member, if you invite people from the public, or if it's as a council member, just let me know. I'm interested.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, April.
Anybody else from the public? Tina?
Tina Reset, Adult Services Manager at the Halley Township Library. I just want to make a comment about TLN. I have previously worked for 3 different libraries within the TLN system, and I've been here 7 years now at Halley, and I am so excited that we are joining TLN. Thank you to Greg for making that go forward. I think it'll be a huge benefit to the Halley Township Library, and I also always wondered when I first started here why Halley Township Library was not the district library, so I'm glad to see that moving forward too. So, and hopefully that can come to fruition, so, thank you.
Okay,
Thank you, Tina.
thank you. Is there anybody else that would like to speak? You, just step up here. Okay, now we will go around and have board member comments. We'll start with Jim.
Well, I'm happy to be back. I've noticed a number of positive things since I served on the board a few years back. And I'm happy to fill in and continue that momentum.
Okay, it's good to have you. Welcome back. Ms. Peters.
I'm excited to be part of the new generation of younger people to help and improve the library and move into a more modern age. I think trying out, changing into a district library would be very beneficial for all of the town and all of the surrounding peoples. We provide a lot of services at the library, and I, myself included, I love coming to the library. I love taking my son to the library. And I've just gotten really involved since I started coming back last year, and it's been really life-changing since I first started coming back, and I'm already on the board. And I just hope that I can provide a lot of intel moving forward as a younger member, a newbie. Fresh meat, I should say.
I think that there are a lot of things that are coming down the pipeline, some of which I do anticipate, I'm sure we all anticipate it to be very complex. When I ran for the library board, I knew that it wasn't going to be an easy, not everything was going to be easy. There's going to be difficult conversations and difficult decisions to make, and I look forward to learning and seeing how we're going to overcome those obstacles to uphold this vision that the previous board set us on this amazing path, and I'm happy to be here to help to contribute that.
To kind of echo what Amber has said, I'm really excited for the trajectory that our library board is showing. I think that all of the decisions that were made tonight were difficult and possibly uncomfortable for some, but I think that it's important that we continue to maintain the growth and continued success of the library as our expectation as a group. I think that, as a board, like Joe had said, we have a responsibility to protect this library and the services that it provides to our community. I also love this library. I've raised my children in the library. As I mentioned, I am within distance of the building. So it's important to me that, you know, we maintain this library, but also to continue the forward growth, bringing it into a more modern era and attracting families and attracting community members to serve and be a part of the library. I'm really excited to see that we had persons interested in joining our library board. The one who doesn't even live here yet was interested in joining us. So I think that speaks volumes, not only about our library and what we're doing, but about our community. So congratulations for the new board member, and congratulations to everyone in their new positions. I think that we have a lot of work to do, and I'm excited to dig in.
Okay. Christine, I know you're new and you haven't been sworn in, but would you like to make a comment?
I'm excited to be
Come
here.
on up here. So we can-
I can just come close.
There you go, ma'am.
Thank you for allowing me to be a part of this. I'm excited to work with all of you, and I agree with everybody about the district library. Being a village resident, to lose this library, especially after I just got nominated, would kill me. But my children grew up here too. My son learned to read from Lucy Summers in this library. So this library means everything to me, and I'm excited to be a part of this great team. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Yes, we've got a lot of decisions to make, and some of them aren't gonna be easy, and I don't think district library is gonna be easy. Yeah, a lot of places have gone to it, but sometimes it takes them 3 or 4 years to get there. So I think we have to be patient, but we have to keep pushing forward, pushing the envelope out there, getting out there into the community. I love everything that the library does. And I don't know what a foam event is, but it sounded kind of fun, but. So people are gonna get hit with foam?
No, we're just gonna fill the back parking lot with foam, there's gonna be music and dancing and
I
Kona
got it,
ice,
okay,
kids are gonna have a
all right.
blast.
See, it's not that bad. But there's a lot of really great things that happen here, and just, I know I'm old, and I know old people should just go away, I got that, but we're not going away. And I personally am willing to work with young people. I work with young people at the Veterans Center all the time. But we all have to work together. This district library is not gonna happen because of some magic. And is there gonna be pushback? I'll bet on it, yeah. From both sides. So I say, let's get together, let's get this done. And I wanna see and I don't wanna set it, but the remodeling of the library, is remodeling the right word?
Yes.
Remodeling of the library, which is about to start. You didn't say this, but I think the 2 weeks in October, we're going to be closed for the remodeling of the library. And I think that's great. Because, this place is kind of almost outused its usefulness in a lot of ways, so remodeling will be great, so. And one last thing, and I wanna commend Jessica. I think what you've done with that teen program, and I think what you've done with, I know you're working with a middle school.
Middle school, high school, all of
You
it.
gotta take it to them, cause they're not gonna come to you.
Oh, yeah, no.
Yeah,
I just
schools
show
are-
up.
Schools are notorious for, hey, this is our realm, stay out of it. But I think what's been done has been outstanding, and it really thrills me that any high school kid that wants a library card can get a library card.
Middle and high school, and it's
Middle and
it's
high school.
almost automatic. Their parents can opt out of it, but other than that,
That's a wonderful thing.
Thank you.
And we have a lot of great staff members. That's the last thing I want to say is we have a lot of great staff members. They do wonderful stuff. And if you have questions, they'll do everything in their power to answer them. So let's move forward. Anybody else? And the meeting comes to adjourn. everybody.
You're done. You just stand up and leave.
Yes.
No, you don't clap, you don't have, you don't have.
Next
Send-
to mine. Was it? Yeah, one